Hello YouTube, this is Frugal and this is the FROOGLESIM news for today, Sunday, August the 9th, 2015. Gonna start this week's show off with all of the X-Plane news, but FSX fans, stick around until the end for some big items there. First up, Flight Factor have just teased their 767. Now I actually missed this for last week's news show, and a couple of you pointed out in the comments, thank you very much. The Flight Factor 767 is really rounding out the lineup of 777 and 757, and Flight Factor have posted screenshots saying that they are now working on the 767 Professional for X-Plane 10. Development of this aircraft is being done alongside updates for all of the 757, 777 and the Airbus A350, so that might play into an extended development time, who knows. There is no firm release date or price set just yet, but the screenshots you're looking at right now do show a lot of promise, as does Flight Factor's track record with X-Plane airliners. The team at Flight Factor do frequently post updates to their Facebook wall, so check out the link in the show notes below and be sure to like their page to stay on top of future updates to all of their aircraft. Next up, Pilot Plus have released EGTR Elstree for X-Plane 10. Elstree is of course famous for Elstree Studios, and EGTR is a nearby small GA airfield in Hertfordshire, England. It has full HD detailed buildings along with high-resolution ground imagery for the surrounding area, and as is often the case with X-Plane scenery now, it also includes custom night lighting, airport animations and volumetric grass. Pilot Plus have also spent a lot of time to give the whole aerodrome a very worn atmosphere to reflect the age of the airport. $22.95 is the price, and it's available from the xplane.org store at the link in the show notes below. Next up, Aerosoft have released Airport Manchester from the Icarus development team for X-Plane. This was previewed on the show quite some time ago, but now obviously it's released. Airport Manchester is a highly detailed rendition of Echo Golf Charlie Charlie for X-Plane, featuring custom high-resolution day and night scenery, animated traffic, and animated airport features like rotating radar dishes and so on. It is fully compatible with HD Mesh Scenery version 3 and includes HD and Ultra HD. I don't know exactly what that means. Textures of its own, with ground textures down to a stunning resolution of 5 cm per pixel. The scenery also makes full use of new X-Plane features such as HDR lighting and object instancing. The price is €19.29 from the Aerosoft store at the link in the show notes below. Next up, RW Designs have released version 2 of the A330-300 for X-Plane. Now the video you're watching is from Thomas Rasmussen. Please do go over to his channel and check out the full video at the link in the show notes below. The A330 is of course a very well-known medium wide-body twin-engine airliner with a range of 7,500 to 13,500 kilometers depending on the version that you actually buy. The Dash 300 is the most popular version apparently, and this update to RW Designs pretty popular X-Plane 10 aircraft features HD textures in the cockpit and a highly detailed exterior model. In terms of system modeling, this release features full modeling of the electrical and hydraulic systems, complete simulation of the Adaroos, a customized ECAM that simulates Airbus flight phase logic, all the Airbus autopilot modes are simulated, a custom MCDU, and a highly realistic simulation of the Airbus fly-by-wire system. The RW Designs A330-300 version 2 is available right now for $37.95 from the xplane.org store at the link in the show notes below. Now back over to the world of FSX and X-Plane. Not much going on. There is one big story, we'll get to that in a second, but first of all, the Iris J170D has now been released. I did mention that this was coming in last week's show, and now that it's here, we have a little bit more information about the aircraft. The 170D actually features 5 custom instrument panels, including a special G1000. It has a sound set recorded from an actual Jabiru 2200 engine, 3D gauges, a brand new digital EFIS, which is perhaps the biggest visible difference in the cockpit from the 160, an in-sim manager app to provide quick access to configurations and options, and a flight model that has been tested and validated by both Jabiru pilots and instructors. The Iris J170D is available now for both FSX and Prepared from Iris's website at the link in the show notes below for $27.99. Now the big news, not really news, kind of a big conspiracy theory I think. Dovetail's brand new flight simulator has been set to release next year. Interestingly, this was mentioned in a press release from Dovetail alongside Train Simulator and Fishing Simulator, and at first glance that press release seemed to imply the new flight simulator would be both a console and a PC release. Now that historically doesn't bode too well for us PC simmers, as console ports rarely have the depth that we seek. So I questioned Dovetail about this publicly on Twitter, and they clarified their press release on Twitter by saying about the console version, "It's not something we're ruling out, but we are not working on bringing DFS to Xbox at this time." So all's good. However, at the end of the week, at the end of the Gamescom event that was going on last week in Germany, what looked like a scheduled tweet from FSX Insider, which is a Twitter account owned by Dovetail, was released that said, announcing a partnership with Microsoft, Dovetail Games Flight Simulator set for release on Windows 10 and Xbox One in 2016. Now that tweet was instantly removed from view after it was posted, so read into this what you will. At the very least, we now know the long-awaited and still highly mysterious sim from Dovetail will launch next year. There is still zero firm news on whether it will be more flight than FSX, 64-bit versus 32-bit, etc., so don't bother asking. However, the press release does use a phrase I have seen repeatedly from Dovetail when talking about their new sim, and that phrase is built on the foundations of Microsoft's award-winning flight technology. That does imply the new sim is based on Microsoft Flight, which of course is Microsoft's failed DLC-heavy light flight sim, and not FSX. That could be potentially bad news. Time will tell. It's way too early to draw judgments, but that's really the conspiracy theory of the week, I think. As soon as I have more news, you will have it too. That's it for this week's show. As always, my name is Frugal. Thank you so very much for watching. If I have missed something, do leave me a comment in the comment section below and I'll take a look into it. And until next week, I'll see you very soon.